Alright, so we're trying this out for the first time. This is my very first YouTube video ever. Just wanted to introduce myself and let you guys know what I'm about, what my purpose, my goals are. My name is Drew Davidson. I'm 39 years old as of yesterday. So I've been training for a while, about, 18, 19 years. Decided to get into bodybuilding about 2 years ago. Went from about 16% body fat down to somewhere around 7% for my first competition, which was the IMBF Carolina PC. Placed first in my division, heavyweight division, but there are only two guys, so not really, much to talk about there. The second competition I did was the IMBF Iron Eagle, which was actually this year in 2023, March 23rd, I believe. And I was able to get first overall for open bodybuilding. As you guys know, natural bodybuilding, it's not very, you're not talking about a lot of big guys. So the heavyweight division, I think, was 180 and above. So I weighed in, I think, about 195. And then from there, I was hoping to get my pro card, but because we didn't have enough competitors, there's a minimum of 8 that the WNBF requires to issue a pro card for that division, which is open bodybuilding. So I did not get a pro card even though I won the overall. So at this point, I would say I'm kind of in a transitionary period, trying to decide what I want to do, whether I want to continue with the IMBF or maybe pursue other competitions or other federations. As of this point, I'm on the fence about whether I want to pursue OCB or whether I want to just jump into an NBC competition and try there, try my hand at that. As far as my training style, I would say it's pretty typical. Usually stick to compound exercises to start out, and then go into more isolation exercises. Typical splits, nothing crazy or too fancy. Try to just stick with exercises that I'm not technically just comfortable with, but I know that they're effective. Right now, since the competition, so since April, for the past couple of months, I've been doing an upper-lower split. I'll do basically every other day. So I'll come in, work out on a Monday, do upper body, rest on Tuesday, and then Wednesday do a lower body day. What was I gonna say? The routines take a while to get through, sometimes an hour and a half to 2 hours, so it's tough to kind of compress everything you want to do into one day in terms of upper body or lower body, but I tend to just kind of try and focus on one or two body parts. So for an upper body A day, I would do maybe just chest and tris, and then an upper body B day, I would focus on shoulders, doing more overhead press, so some kind of vertical pressing movement to incorporate that into the upper body day. Typically I'll do, just kind of as a traditionalist, I'll do barbell bench press to start, and then go into either incline dumbbell bench or incline overhead or overhead dumbbell press. But every once in a while, I like to mix it up, and I've been working on my overhead barbell press. I'll do a seated overhead press just because it tends to allow you more consistency, and a standing overhead press I found is more or less really just more for powerlifting. You're gonna get the same basic movement, the same benefit from doing a seated overhead press as opposed to standing without having to work your core. There are so many other movements that do work your core and your stabilizer muscles. I don't feel like it's something that needs to also be incorporated into an upper body day. So I'll stick to just, seated overhead press or seated dumbbell press for now. And then I'll typically go into a pec fly, so pec deck. Then dips, heavy dips have just been such an amazing workout for me. The exercise has just helped me develop my shoulders and my triceps so much. I recommend them to anyone who doesn't do weighted dips. I think once I, got up to two and a half plates on weighted dips, it definitely seemed to help really just work on my front delts. I don't really have to do too much, but because dips are so taxing on your front delts, I recommend taking your upper body days and splitting them up so that you're only doing weighted dips on one day and overhead press on another. Otherwise, you're basically just going to destroy your shoulders and really just hit your front delts way too hard. It's going to be too taxing from what I can tell from experience. So just try to mix those up and then do some kind of tricep extension for cables, and then cable flies, and then probably call it a day. For most exercises, I try to stick to 7 to 8 reps, 3 to 4 sets, with the exception being, the heavy compound movements. I am still trying to work on building strength, so as far as flat barbell bench and overhead press, I try to get at least 4 to 5 reps per set, and then maybe do some drops. So now to the lower body workouts. Right now, I'm focused once again on doing compound exercises first, and then moving more into the isolation exercises. First exercise I start with is, of course, your basic barbell squat. Try to get at least 3 sets of 5 for my top sets, and then I'll do a drop set, usually a set of 8. And then I'll go into leg press, 3 sets of 8, some kind of deadlift, usually after that. Deadlifts, I try to lower the amount of reps I get in the 3 to 5 rep range, depending on how my body feels after beating it up, doing regular squats to start out the workout. Then I'll do, after leg press, I'll either switch focus where I'll do more back exercises or more leg exercises. If it's more of a leg focused lower body day, I'll do leg extensions, leg curls, and then seated calf raises, 3 sets of 8 for each of those. If it's more of a back focused day, then I'll do low rows followed by lat pull downs, which you could incorporate them in the upper body day as well, but I tend to find that on my lower body days, I'm usually hitting my back anyway, so I might as well incorporate some kind of lat pull down or pull-ups, which I use interchangeably. As far as pull-ups go, I worked up to weighted pull-ups, 3 sets of 7 with 45 pounds. But then right before my second competition, I had really bad pain in my elbow, and I think it had to do with having tendonitis. For the most part, it's pretty much healed, but for now, I find that using lat pull downs interchangeably with pull-ups, I really don't notice any, any lack of muscle development in my lats by interchanging the two. As far as the workout today goes, did squats, you can see in the video. I tried for 3 sets of 4 with 365. Second set though, I only got 3. I felt that my balance was a little bit off, and I know that my hips have had problems. Hips tend to feel more activation on the left side. My hip flexors will start to they'll start to actually fatigue on my left side more than my right, which obviously isn't good if you're doing squats. And then my drop set was just 315 by 7. From there, I went into RDLs. I did 3 sets of 8. I started out with 225, and then my last 2 top sets were 275. Anything beyond 275, I feel like it stops becoming RDL and basically becomes a full-on deadlift. And then as far as the limiting factor goes, my grip is still not the best, and because this was at our apartment gym, the bars are a little bit thicker, so that's also an issue. And then the horizontal leg press machine, I find that there's a real good use for the leg press machine that they have here, which starts you out basically at the bottom of the movement, meaning you're trying to work on your explosiveness, and the typical leg press machine, you start at the top. So that's the main difference. You're starting basically with your quads fully extended as opposed to fully flexed. And then I went into the lat pull downs for cables, 3 sets of 8. Did some seated low rows, and then worked in some pull-ups at the end there. I didn't get too many videos of the other exercises at the end because, of course, like an idiot, I forgot my tripod. So that's why some of my camera angles aren't the greatest. For future workouts, I'll try to remember the tripod, and hopefully you guys stay tuned, follow my progress. I think for plans, the next competition I'm aiming for is somewhere in early to mid-October. I haven't decided which one I want to do yet, whether I want to go try to compete for an NPC national qualifier competition, or whether I want to do the Mr. America competition, which will more or less just kind of be for fun and for the experience. Like I said, because I didn't get my pro card, I'd still be competing as an amateur, so I don't really think there's anything that I could potentially gain from the Mr. America competition. So at this point, I'm leaning more towards competing in an NPC qualifying competition. I don't know too much about NPC yet. All of my experience and research has been mostly just in the INBF and WNBF and the OCB. So if you guys have any suggestions or if you have any input, feel free to reach out or comment below. Thanks.